Hi friends, today we are discussing Science and Technology Part 1 2025 State Board N840 Question Paper and Answers. Disclaimer: State Board 10th Standard N840 Science and Technology 72 Paper 1 2025 Question and Answers. Before starting this video, kindly type in YouTube search at the rate of Iswaraya Vijay Kumar and kindly subscribe this channel. First questions. Alkaline earth metals have valency 2. This means that their positions in the modern periodic table is in group 2. Answer is group 2. Here explanations. The alkaline earth metals have a valency 2 because they have 2 electrons in their outermost shell. In this modern periodic table, elements with 2 valence electrons belong to group 2, which includes beryllium, magnesium, calcium, strontium, barium and radium. Question number 2. The reactions in which ions in the reactant are exchanged to form a precipitate is called double displacement reactions. D. Option is D. A double displacement reactions. The brief answer and the explanations of these questions. A double displacement reactions is a chemical reactions in which ions from two reactant compound exchange places, forming new compounds. If one of the product is an insoluble precipitate, the reaction is especially called a precipitation reactions. Barium chloride plus sodium sulfate, barium sulfate precipitate plus sodium chloride. That is the example of this double displacement reaction. Question number 3. Dash is used to make a solenoid type coil is an electrical bulb. Tungsten is the answers. The brief answer and the explanation of these questions. Tungsten is used to make a solenoid type coils. Filament is an electrical bulb because it has very high melting point 3422 degrees Celsius, allowing it to withstand with high temperatures without melting. It has high resistivity, which helps in converting electrical energy into heat and light efficiently. It does not oxidize easily to high temperature in an inert gas environment such as argon. Thus, tungsten is the ideal materials for electrical bulb filaments. Question number 4. Light changes its directions when the wind going from one transparent medium to another transparent medium. This process is called refraction. Refraction is the bending of light as it passes from one transparent medium to another due to the change in speed. Question number 5. Calcium oxide plus water gives calcium hydroxide plus heat is an example of exothermic reaction. Question number A is the answers. The reactions of calcium oxide plus water, calcium hydroxide plus heat is an example of exothermic reactions because heat is released during the reaction. 1B. The state whether true or false. A redox reaction takes place during cellular respirations. The answer is true. The brief answer and the explanation of these questions. The redox reactions takes place during cellular respirations because glucose is oxidized to produce energy while oxygen is reduced to form water. Find the odd one out. Here the answer is magnet. The brief answer and the explanation of these questions. Loudspeakers, microphone and electric motor all involve electrical energy conservations and electromagnetic inductions. A magnet, however, is a permanent object that does not require electrical functions. So odd one is magnet. Answer I have given here. And question number 3, what is the reason for twinkling of star? The twinkling of star is caused by atmospheric refractions. As light from a star passes through a different layers of the earth atmosphere which have varying densities, it bends in different directions. This reaction causes the star's light to appear to shift and flicker, creating the twinkling effect. Match the following: column A, column B. And the simple microscope, answer is used to observe minute objects. Used to observe minute objects. Simple microscope used to observe minute objects. A is the answers. 1B5. Name the behavior of water between its temperature from 0 degree Celsius to 4 degree Celsius. Explanations. Normally substances contract with the colded and expand when heated. However, the water behaves anomalously in this temperature range. When water is cooled from 4 degree Celsius to 0 degree Celsius, it expanded to instant of contracting. This happens because water molecule forms to open hexagonal structures due to hydrogen bonding, increases its volume and decreases its density. This anomaly is why ice floating on water and water at 4 degree Celsius is denser than 0 degree Celsius. Question number 2A. While going from left to right with a period, the size of atom decreases. While going to left to right with a period, size of atom is decreases. The brief answer and the explanation of this question: yes, the atom size, the atomic radius decreases as we move from left to right across a period of periodic table. Reasons: increases in nuclear charge as we move across a period. Number of protons in the nucleus increases, leading to higher positively charged in the nucleus. The some electron shells, the electrons are added to the same principal energy levels, same shell, without any significant increases in the electron shielding. That point is stronger attractions, and due to the higher nuclear charge, the nucleus pulls the electrons closer, reducing the atomic size. Example: lithium has a larger atomic radius than fluorine F in periodic table, and the sodium Na is larger than chlorine Cl is in period. Thus, the atomic size decreases from the left to right across a period. Question number 2. For electric power transmissions, the copper and aluminum wire is used. Yes, for electrical and power transmissions, copper and aluminum wire is used. The brief answer and the explanation of these questions: for electrical power transmissions, copper and aluminum wire is used. Copper and aluminum are an excellent conductor of electricity. Copper has highest conductivity but is heavier and more expensive. Aluminum is lighter and cheaper, making it more commonly used for overhead power lines. Question number 3. In some countries, ethanol is used to additive to increase the efficiency of petrol. The brief answer and the explanation of these questions: the ethanol is blended with petrols, examples E10, E15 or E85, to enhance combustion efficiency. It increases the octane rating, reducing engine knocking. Ethanol is renewable and help reduce to greenhouse gas emissions. 2B1. Name and state the principles used to measure the specific heat capacity of a substance. The answer of these questions: the specific heat capacity of a substance is measured with the principles of calorimetry, is also called the principle of heat exchange. What is the principle of behind this? It states that when two bodies of different temperatures are brought into thermal contact, heat lost by hotter body is equal to the heat gaining by the cooler body, providing there is no heat loss on the surrounding. Mathematically, heat loss equal to heat gain, where is mass is specific heat capacity and is temperature. 2b2. What is done to prevent rusting of iron door of your house? The preventing of rusting of iron door. The rusting of iron occurs due to the reactions of ions with oxygen and moisture water in air and forming iron oxide rust. To prevent rusting, the following methods can be followed: the painting the door to create a protective barrier, and applying oil or grease to prevent moisture contact, and galvanization coating with zinc to protect irons, and powder coating or enamel coating for long lasting protections. Question number 3. Distinguish between mass and weight. The mass is the amount of matters present in the objects, and here mass is the force with which the earth attract the object. The second point number 2. Mass does not change with place, and weight Wmg as the change weight is also changes, and SI unit is kilogram, CGS unit in gram, and here SI unit is Newton and CGS unit is Dyne. Mass is a scalar quantity in weight is a vector quantity. Question number 4a. The rocket is a type of firecrackers used in Deepavali. Name the launchers. First question A. The rocket is a type of firecracker is used in Deepavali. Name the launchers. The launchers for a rocket firecrackers is typically a tube or bottles that provides initially support and directions for the rocket to launch upwards. Here question number 2b. 2b4b. Name the law on which its work is based on that. The answer of these questions: the working of rocket firecrackers is based on the Newton's third law of motions, which stated, for every action there is a equal and opposite reactions. When the burning fuels in the firecrackers expel hot gases downwards, the rocket is propelled to upwards due to the reaction force. That is the answer of these questions. And 2b5. What is meant by decomposition reactions? Write the chemical reactions of decomposition sugar on heat. Here answer of this questions: decomposition reactions is a type of chemical reactions in which a single compound breaks down into two or more simple substances when subjected to heat, light or electricity. Example: decomposition of sugar and heat. With sugar C12H22O11 is heated, it decomposes into carbon and water vapor. C12H22O11 heat, we are getting 12C plus 11H2O. This reaction shows that sugar breaks into carbon, which appears as a black residue, and water vapors when heated. Question number 3. The iron ball of mass 3 kg is released from a height of 125 meters and falls freely to the ground. Assuming that the value of G is 10 to the power of meter per second squares, calculate the time taken by the ball to reach the ground. And question number B. Velocity of the ball on reaching the ground. The answer of this question: so the mass is 3 kg and displacement 125 meter and G equal to 10 meter per second square. Initial velocity u equal to 0, and finally we have to calculate the time t and final velocity v and height. Formula is ut plus of gt square v equal to u plus gt. We are calculating based on that time, we are getting 5 seconds, and case 2 velocity u plus gt, we are getting 50 meter per second. The final answer is time taken to reach the ground 5 seconds and velocity just before hitting the ground 50 meter per seconds. Question number 3, 2a. Write a name and symbols of elements of descriptions. The most electronegative atoms is fluorine F, Question number B, the atoms having smallest atomic mass, that is hydrogen H. And question number C, the noble gas with the smallest atomic radius, that is helium He. And question number 3a, what happens when copper reacts with the concentrated nitric acids? What is the color of gas released during these reactions? The reactions of copper with the concentrated nitric acids, when copper reacts with the concentrated nitric acid, is undergoes oxidations or redox reactions. The nitric acid oxidizes the copper to form copper 2 nitrate when nitric acid itself is reduced to nitrogen dioxide. A reddish brown gas is formed during this reaction. Question number 3b, the balance chemical equations. Here copper plus 4 HNO3 nitric acid and copper nitrate plus 2 NO2, it means nitrogen dioxide plus water. That is the balance of these chemical reactions. And when writing the balance of chemical reactions, balanced chemical reactions ensure that the numbers of atoms of each element is the same on both and reactant and product sides. To balance the equations, follow the steps. Write the unbalanced equations, skeleton equations, and count the number of atoms of each element on both sides. Point number 3, adjust the coefficient to whole numbers of placed before components to balance atoms. Point number 4, ensure the charge balance if deals with ionic equations. Example, combustions of methane CH4O2, we are getting CO2 plus H2O. And CH4 plus 2O2, we are getting CO2 plus 2H2O. Question number 3c, write the names of reactant and product. Name the reactant and product. The copper and concentrated nitric acid is the reactant, and copper 2 nitrate and nitrogen dioxide and water is the product of this reaction. Question number 3-4, Fleming's left hand. This rule is used to determine the directions of force motions in electrical motor. What is the concept of this? If you arrange your left hand such that the index fingers points to the directions of the magnetic field B, the middle finger point to the directions of current I, then the thumb will indicate the directions of force motions on the conductor. Application used in electric motors. And 3-4, Fleming right hand rule. This rule is used to determine the directions of induced current in the generator. Concept, if you arrange the right hand such that the thumb points in the directions of motion force applied, the index fingers points in the directions of the magnetic field B, and the middle finger will indicate the directions of induced current used in electrical generator. And 3-5a, answer the following in with respect to the formations of rainbow. Draw the neat diagrams to show the formation of rainbow and the name two natural process involved in the formations of rainbow. That is the questions. Here is the rainbow formations and provide the rainbow is combined with the effect of refractions and depressions and total internal reflections of light. Here is the circles, and we are getting the red, violet light rays and water droplet. This is the water droplet, violet, red. We are reflecting the internal reflections, the rainbow formations. The beautiful phenomena is the rainbow is the combinations of different phenomena, namely depressions of light, internal reflections, and refractions of light. The rainbow appears in the sky after rain shower. The water droplet act as a small prisms. When the sunlight enters the water droplet present in the atmosphere, they refract and disperse the incident sunlight. This results is a spectrum. So then the light rays get reflected internally inside the droplet and finally against get refracted. As a collective effect of this phenomena, this 7-colored rainbow is observed. In the morning, rainbow can be seen towards west, while in the evening it can be seen towards the east. The name two natural processes involved in the formations of rainbow. The refractions, bending of light, it enters the water droplet. Dispersions, the splitting of white light into its constituent colors. The total internal reflections, light bouncing inside the droplet, and refractions again, light exciting the droplet, forming the rainbow. And what does the small droplet of water act as? A small droplet of water act as a prism which refracts, disperses and internally refracts light to form a rainbow. 3, 5C, that is the answers. 3, 6A. The two metals which can cut the knife. First metal is sodium, Na, and potassium, symbol is K. The sodium atomic number 11 and potassium atomic number 19. These alkali metals are soft and can be easily cut with the knife. And a sound is produced when certain metals are struck. They name the properties of the metal. The properties of the metals to that allow them to produce the sound with the struck is called sonority. The C 6C, the non-metallic substance which is the good conductor of electricity. The non-metallic substance that is a good conductor of electricity is graphite. And 3, 7A, they answer the questions of with the diagrams. The process of the diagrams and how does the process takes place, and give two examples in which the process is used. The answer of these questions here, what is the diagrams represent? The above diagram represents the process of electroplating of silver. Here is the answers. The object to the coating of aluminum spoon is connected to the negative terminal cathode. A pure metals plate, silver plate, is connected to the positive terminals anode. Both are immersed into an electrolyte solutions containing metal ions silver solutions. When the electric current is passed to metal ions from the solutions deposit on the cathode spoon, forming a thin layers of metal silver coating. Simultaneously, the metal from the anode dissolves into the electrolyte to replenish to lost ions, ensuring the continuous process. That is the electroplating of silvers. Two examples of electroplating applications: jewelry making, gold and silver plating on ornaments to enhance appearance and prevent tarnishing and corrosion protections. Electroplating ions are steel object with zinc galvanization to prevent rusting. Question number 3, 8. Here answer of these questions here navigations of satellite and here NAVIC, IRNSS, PSLV, and monitor weathers and pattern and climate conditions. Here is the INSAT and METSAT and GSLV and PSLV. The fourth one, C answer, remote the sensing satellite. And the answer of this, earth observations and resource mapping. And answer any one of the following. The diagrams of human eye. Here is the answers. Here primary muscles, iris and pupils, crystalline lens and cornea and sclerotic coat and carotenoids, retina and optic nerves and optic disc muscles. The minimum distance of district deviations, a minimum distance of which a normal human eye can see an object clearly without strain in 25 cm. This distance is called a least distance of district deviations or near point of the eye. Here 4.1c. Name the capacity of eye to lens to change the focal length of the you need. The capacity of eye lens to change its local length as per need is called accommodations. D. The defect of eye visions in which the fusing powers of eye lens decreases with age. The defect of eye visions in which the focusing powers of the eye lens decreases with age is called presbyopia. 4,2A. The atomic number of chlorine 17. They write the configurations of chlorine. Atomic number of chlorine is 17 and the atomic number of chlorine 17. So its electron configuration is 287. Total we can add 2, 8, 10 plus 7, 17. What is the number of electrons in valence shell of chlorine? The valence shell of chlorine is the third shell which contains 7 electrons. And the molecular formula of chlorine Cl2. On the type of bond of formations of chlorine molecules, the chlorine atoms share the electrons to achieve a stable octane configurations, forming a covalent bond. Hence, the type of bond in the chlorine molecule is a single covalent bond. Question number 4,2E. The electron dot structures of chlorine molecules. Each chlorine atom has 7 valence electrons. They share 1 electrons each, forming a single covalent bond. This electrons dot structure is represented as Cl dot Cl. Alternatively, using dots is dot dot Cl dot dot Cl, and here is the answers I mentioned. And for further contact given here details. And kindly type in YouTube search at the rate of Iswarya Vijay Kumar and kindly subscribe the channels. If any doubt means put the comment box and kindly share this video. And thanks for watching this video and thanks once again.